Assalamu alaikum, boss.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Ita gande?
Jërëjëf waay.
Yeye ma adelo ziar nagam.
Alhamdulillah, nee naa noo def.
Maa ngi nii rek naka ite.
Alhamdulillah. Naka suba si.
Suba sant rek alhamdulillah.
That's good. Alhamdulillah.
Si jàmm naka family bi.
Ñu ngi fay sant yàlla bu baax a baax. Otherwise.
Alhamdulillah ñu ngi nii rek.
Naka ndaw si xale yi.
Ñëpp ñu si jàmm.
Alhamdulillah, that's good.
Yow sax naka xale yi da nga jege xale yi. Ma ne sa background nga bëri noise da nga jege xale yi.
Wallahi xale yi ñoo nekk di dugga fii di génn nii waaye kii ñu ngeen ñi di génn sax. Mu war a nekk jël suma rightful place.
Merci.
Yeah. Naka foofu ndax tàngut comme fii yéen.
Non ñu seera tuuti.
Ok yéen de kon de yéen moom yéen a ngi noos ñun moom nekk fan yi moom right now affaire yaa ngi hit bu baax.
I know.
Yeah.
Loolu dégg fu muy tànnate.
Weather baa ngi change right now. waaye xam naa ne moom wala gars yi moom gars yi dinañ kontaan comme topp fekk na koor bi jeex kay.
Waaw ma ne. Gars yi yàlla fi dimbale this time moom tàngut ñun fii sax.
waaw ok noonu la kay ne fi I think first beginning fan yi right first week bi moom xam naa ne boobu moom tàngoon na defak na few days ba after second week bi ba daanaka mu jeex.
dégg la
même seen doon na.
dégg
la anyway naa ne time baa ngi waaxu si ndànka xam naa ne ñu just allow la rek nga defin gars yi as usual ñoo fekk si den alafa ñu dugga ci waxtaan bi incha allah because we have very important issues ñu war a discuss tey as always.
Definitely di jaajëfal gars yi rek di wax gars yi ne welcome back to the programme ñu jotat ko si ak ñuy di ko si kanam jërëjëf while the program is going on, feel free to call to interrupt and discuss because that's how we're gonna learn. Somebody is calling so already.
Yeah.
I'm not who call already, sir. The judges. Mr.
Aliwa.
ST Aliwa. Tegna sir.
Okay, dugga si na si programme anyway ñu ngi ko nuyu bu baax di nuyu ñëpp ñuy ànd ak ñoon si programme bi ak ñi koy dégluwaat ci kanam as always comme na nga koy waxee. su ko defee ñu ngi wax ñëpp welcome back and it's good to be back. ñu gërëmaat la yow tamit for the efforts and everything pour gis ne programme dafa continuer di am pour inform Gambians and all that, which is very, very important. Yeah, so coming back to lu ñoo waxtaanee tey, as always dañoo look at some of the very prominent issues yow ci dëkk bi te mu nekk concern to Gambians si ñu discuss ko and be it wàllum yoon la wala mooy wàllum legal issues or justice, wàllu security, wàllum other things yi nga xamante ne daal Gambians si dañ ci dee waxtaane wala bàyyi ci xel so si sa xam-xam ak mbaaxaay dañu dee ñëw tëj ko jàngal nit ñi mun a understand di leemaan mu am ci naka la lu ci yoon wax so I think li ñëpp xam ne li gën a yëngal réew mi taay yëpp mooy mbiri Ousainou Bojang keesam bi ak magam case bi tàmbali na since 2023 September 2026 March verdict am na waaye verdict bi jur na coow su ko defee xam naa fu ñoo tàmbali rek I know yow case bi from the beginning to the end toppa nga ko te xam nga ci lu bëree bëri moo tax ma bëgga comme gis nañ ne Ousainou Bojang nga xamante moom lañ tuumal ne moom moo faat ñaari police officer yooyu Sukuta Jaban traffic light bi ñëw tuumal magam moo ko dimbale pour mu dawoon gannaaw buñ ko téyee ne tuumal ko moo ko def moom mu weddi yoon ñëw teggi tuuma yooyu setal ko ba mu set bàyyi ko xam naa dañ ñëw ci buñ ko bàyyee lan moo xew bat balaa loolu dafa mel ni yow ak sa femme bi mooy kuréel bi nga yore di gestu def ngeen ci taxawaay bu am solo play ngeen ci very crucial role pour wane ne mbir mi daal am na lu ci leerut ci case bi buñ ko tuumale ba pare tax na ba am na sax evidence yi nga xamante ne am na ci but bu gën a ñoo xam daal ci gàttal ndax ngeen taxawee case bi mooy sa femme bi nga am kuréel bi nga jiite ndax ngeen ci duggee ak lan moo tax ngeen soobu woon ci gestu mbir mi buñ ko waxee ba pare buñ tuumalee Ousainou.
waaw jërëjëf Mr Kante ba musique bi loudut kañ musique background music right
waaw it's okay
jërëjëf vraiment dugga si correction bi foog ñu jaajëfal ñoo xam ne ni bokkoon nañ si tamit mooy ñoom Omar Tunkara ak ñoom Seydou because play nañ a huge role in this nga when it comes to court cases dafa am yenn strategies they use. It involves the media, it involves other intelligence networks that you could use to make sure that create doubt in the minds of the court. Because so the Gambia swing court system the way they operate and the way they used to operate, or they've been operating since day one, it's just like a black and white. I'm a Gambian. Because I military police in training, they think everything in life is about black and white. You know, that's a class black. So ñu ngi jaajëfal gars yi bu baax a baax ñun nag case bi lu taxaw ñu get involved mooy ne because the way things were going just because comme lu ma wax lii rek for years for decades dangaa dégg ne jàpp nañ ko mu ne confess na witnesses ñëw nañ they fabricate witnesses and you teel a tëj la understand ya so jooju si tamit duñ daan def comme dañ de war kii waa ñu ne confess nga ak magistrate si so I felt like it was our responsibility pour ñu change that generational cycle understand yeah so balaa ñoo get involved man I personally reach out to them some high officials man the way you guys investigated this the way things are going this man did not do it so I would advise you guys to release him. We give you guys 2 weeks. If you don't release him, we will get involved. Waaye xam nga Gambian bi leena mooy problème du dee su ko nit waxee dara du dee toog xool kii la moo tax ma wax lii ñoom lu ñu xool rek mooy ne waaw kii day déggu fii kii mu ñuy yam ñu si sécurité bi comme président Barrow lu wax rek suñu sécurité bi mun nañ liggéey mun nañoo def nii because loolu la ñu yàgg di wax si rajo yi sax suñu waxee ñun suñu kii bu ñu disturb lii and then we gave them 2 weeks. And then 2 weeks came, they still did not release the man, and then I activated my agents. And the game started. And that's how we got involved. At some point, when we got involved, one of the witnesses texted me and threatened me, and I told him that, I don't take threats lightly. Understand? I'm gonna go, even though with those PIU around you, I could get to you. That's exactly what I told him, and I said, "We will beat you at your own game in court. Let's go." Understand? So no love for them at all. More than you got involved. We wanted to change that generational cycle of chemo definitely wow confess na without any following evidence. The fabricators I can banya definitely because they have no regard for human life in the Gambia. You understand that? Nganyada need na mile to right now. The same situation. Like what now on the my cut, now on my lead, take many the play guards. And that has to end. We need to start teaching our children the right way to do things, obviously. Yeah, so for them, we got involved and then we delivered. So the jarama yo misa bohonga si dilawa jere because on as a platform we want to see several times writing questions about Usainu Bojang, and we analyzed it and made sense to the Gambian people. We get to the point that when we broke it down, definitely justice even though even the layman was understandable, and that's what we did.
Yeah.
Wow,
interestingly, and but like as you said, it's good to acknowledge some of the roles other people play, but you have been the central figure around all this, drive and enlightenment. You go acknowledge every contributor matters, every impact. I'm not jerry. But moving on, the trial be during Bindon at the case be, you have been like saying like with certainty the state be among evidence later numuna gomne Ousainou Bojang mo def the committed crime moy linko fat police yoyu but at some point like even being ko waxe yang no receive comme linko waxe backlash from Gambian ni bari amna liñ la doon wax ak yoyu especially fofu sax fi nga nek America ci lu xew fofu nonu so léegi li may laaj mooy yooyu yëpp xew na but la moo taxoon nga gëmoon ne Ousainou moom defut li nga xamante ne moom mooy liñ ko tuumal ak xëy na sax duñ ko mën a found guilty ci luñ ko doon toppee.
Waaw xam nga mbir mi xam-xam la when you do these things you don't do it with your feelings as you say when you enforce the law yàgg naa ko wax soo enforce loi bi even loi is a kër sax so doo ko enforce with your feelings, personal feelings, religious beliefs, or the biasness. Understand? So you have to look at every corner, every situation. So, and as an investigator, what you do based on the stories that you receive, based on the information you receive from the crime scene, how the crime scene was managed, also should play a vital role in this, because you have to understand, as law enforcement officials or investigators, you are the key to the gate. You're the first layer of the process. So if you mess that up, Rick, and if you don't follow the basic guidelines, because you have to form your investigative perspective when you investigate a case. Investigative perspective suñ bëgg olof yi mooy ne ok lii def na ni lii moo tax nga am different investigators so nga jël ki yow mi lead investigator ba nga ne ok yow pasuwal perspective bi kii pasu la le so da nga gis ne as you guys go on yaa ngi tackle problems ba ngeen ñëw ba narrow things down understand waaye in this case loolu amul fa because soo xoolee crime scene bi dañ jël ñi rek yóbbu leen rek lopitaan bi rek jeena. Nothing was secured. Evidence were contaminated. Witnesses were tampered with. Witness statements, you could see holes in them. And not only that, Bala investigation, we don't come as can you imagine a government spokesperson without gathering the facts would them see radio? The commence the tumal. No more hair story this was something that was cooked. Understand? It was cooked because a story was already in place if you look at it. Because and then they carried out that story. Hangamola one how this government works, this administration. They nyaka julisa mogen, which is against the law, by the way, because when you conspire to falsely accuse somebody, that's an offense. It's in our criminal codes, right? It doesn't matter who you are. But that's who they may conspire to live in somebody's the law for the law. Understand? Because he's not above the law. So whole lulu from that spokesperson's statement on the West Coast, the Parenga Delaware recent press release be deputy IGP is it Dembaso?
Yeah, Demba, yeah.
Yeah, Dembaso and a national security advisor. The story that they told the Gambian people, and then how the deputy IGP that's how they tracked the person who killed these people. It was an insult to our intelligence. Understand? Was an insult to our criminal justice system, was an insult to the history of investigators. Because insecurity, there's something we call NTK or Zulu D as Zulu. So you say the Paremom statement is a contradict Bopa. Meanwhile, no lañ xamé kan mo ray because dañ check ñu xam kan mo ray ki non la gay traqué aussi. And lu mu wax nonu any investigator mun la wax ne the only time lolu work moy su nekké ne comme like for example right ñu ngi investigate ñu gis ne okay sawaje there's a possibility suspect la armored suspect la right. So lu ñu def moy when we bring you in you're going to use that advantage because you already have that. If you have that data, okay, you're on time be me la man my own bara. But then cell phone data me want around the crime scene. Hamga bobu yangi get closer because yangi want okay, kill more friends, say get more friend than fi. Understand? Both time you have to be careful because it could be suwa hene mungi won fofu nono dañu wax ne mom moko def, right? So the person could lie. So as an investigator, don't just even confessions. So we say confession should be accompanied with investigation and evidence, and this some kind of circumstantial or especially and most importantly, tangible evidence. Because of the fact that when it comes to confession, Nikki might have a mental illness, might be caused, more forced or tortured or manipulated, right? So many people are in prison right now. Even in America, some people have been in prison because investigators, all they think about all they care about is, we are clearing cases, right? We're clearing cases. So I say at the end of the day, you as an investigator, now because they know that they have made so many mistakes, they of course state be a lot of money. So I say prosecutor will time up. No, you need more. Because nobody wants to waste taxpayers' money. Because these courts here, it is taxpayers' money. So the way they got allowed, the way Lutah Magum, because I'm gum neki, the Mako since day one, big Gambians knew they were Lene, I mean, Waki, Yap, Yangi, what guy, Mujegi, Bala, you should be the gainers, Vatic be the gainers, who have many is a Hamutza, could they get the defensive court, say, as you know, yeah, you know, they were made good sense. So, the way the story was told, the way the press, what was said, they talked to the Gambian people during their press conference, the way that government spokesperson accused another political party, and then the way they investigated this case, they investigated the crime scene, the way they preserved the crime scene, all those things were put into factor and you're like, no, this doesn't make sense. Even so in the snake game of Odessa, still you have to more in a court. And the state had the burden to prove beyond a reasonable doubt this person did it. And they did not do that. They did not do that. Then them duga, send duga. The family in them duga, send duga, okay, tomorrow duga. You them court be Melane, okay, could be most. Why, this is for the game. You know, like, another day, and like, wow, because Kimo, when you made up some kind of story. And the most important thing, the smoking gun, listen, you know how mama, Mama Jabi confession audio bu they refuse to bring it in court because we analyze it on the radio. Because ku déglu loolu mun laa woon ne Ousainou Boja had no idea that Mama Jabi was setting him up. Because Mama Jabi was trying to guide him to say something, even though the audio bu Mama Jabi boobu noonu mu ngi contradict boppam. So that loolu moo taxoon ñu moo taxoon ñu arrest ko, right? So why didn't they provide that audio to the court? Because that's a smoking gun. Because they knew what happened in there after we analyzed it on the radio. They wouldn't bring it in court. And then not only that, you're gonna never confess separate living law, record the law, and that's part of the law. Whatever they charge him with, they were supposed to record him on tape. And the person you pass it for said they were confess now with even interrogation. More than one guy those camera. Investigative camera, body camera, scene, gather information because we want to see how the person was questioned because that's very important. We need to start acting. Wow, the person was acting that he was in force, he or she was in force, he wasn't manipulated, understand things like that because you are playing with somebody's life, bro. One day, we're gonna sentence you to jail or prison in 1 day. Lolo is something you are young. So you want to make sure whoever you are sending to prison, at least, so this is what happened, and we investigated, we counter investigated, and that's what I keep telling Gambian people, especially these chambers, because they don't understand that Gambian lawyers, especially pocket lawyers, they don't understand when you have a chamber, you need an investigator. Because Gambian lawyers, so they drag me, they go to the court, they just go by what the state presents, right? And then you're gonna sit there, you don't even know how to defend that. You know that you love a for nothing. What if lawyers they hold them accountable if you don't do your job? You either lose your law license or whatever, or bar. So this is what it is, bro. We have a lot to learn. We are so backwards. Bro, you have no idea. When you see Gambians, the way they approach situation, especially these so-called people, they went to school and graduated. You mean from them being in criminal justice or whatever is just about speaking good English, writing good English. Solo be nice, the double loyal. No, not the way they act in the Gambia. You body because of them lawyers, you body because of them motor innocent people are in prison right now.
Yeah, definitely. I can attest that because Lord, I do hear many people complain about lawyers in this country, how they mislead people, or their lack of commitment, whatever, lead them to being incarcerated. So Lolumom is a problem. But anyway, I know interesting times ahead by way, but now that Ousainou is not of course is found innocent, found who is not guilty as of now. Verdict bilum wone, but of course nguur gi mom they would move on to fok ñu wax Gambians who is responsible ci li am. But Mr. Faye, like where do you think like ñi am nañ all this thing wrong, ci case bi ni, and if you were involved per se in investigating this case, where would you have begun? Fan nga doon tàmbali mbir yi pour gestu lan moo xew ci mbiri Ousainou Bojang case.
Well, first of all, the crime scene is already contaminated, right? All evidence is all contaminated. So here, they have already laid down the roots more because number one, all you have to do is go back to these so-called witnesses because every story that they made was fabricated. Every story that they made was fabricated, especially those three witnesses. Ñoo xam ne ni soldiers yooyu noonu parce que ko xoolee Amadou yàgg na ko fi wax ñooñu ñu ne dañ jógee si beach bi ñu dem fale Sukuta Jabang bu ñu ñëwee ñu ñaan lift yaa ngi amee xaalis ok ba da nga ñaan lift right so nga àgga foofu noonu yéen ñaar so kenn ku gaa yi yóoni woon pour mu dem yenn yàppa that person was used as an alibi to put something in their story. Because as an investigator, there is no such thing as coincidence when it comes to law enforcement or when it comes to intelligence gathering. Danga paranoid. So you have to examine every statement given by witness. Stories you have. So if you don't take that's not a problem that we have. Come te danga gis jabar bu hesuba wala jëkkër bu hesuba fast jabaram or jëkkëram nga ñëw malaria joy yu bari because there's an emotional thing attached to this, right? There's this thing that we call gaslighting and manipulation, especially for how many cinco jape is gonna go for life, bro. So they don't understand this part of an investigation. Sometimes putting your bolesa, that's the person you need to look at, right? So whole story when you especially that Bojang guy, right? Mine dafa dem bu guy age mine ko na dama jënd yapa. Because man, in my understanding, su nekk ñu dañoo ànda ñu dem jënd yapa foog loolu dañoo dem xool yapa bi naka la bi boy bi baaxut ni ak ni na jëndali waaye yow nga ne ko ne because they have already admitted ne they told that guy to go jënd yapa ñoom ñu dem si police pour talk to waxtaan. They have already admitted that, so they were around there. Look at that story. So secondly, you turn they got pump. They retail wide. Fetal be left fetal room rotate. Justice Judge, I believe in like you're on the military. Why didn't you get the gun? Well, look at your love fetal and run after this person. I'm home a battle shop. You are an expert. You are a trainer, weapons firearm trainer at the school. Mm-hmm. And you are battle shop. It will make sense, number one. Not only that, that forensic is a forensic examiner. Corona bi hamaling ko hawma. Koku, I mean, we're gonna look into it. We will ask him questions as to how he conducted that autopsy, because autopsies gis na fa bullet, because the bullet was very important, especially ñële buñ waxee ne waaw dañ fa jëlee life rounds ak empty cell cases because guddi la, because yow naka nga xamee fan la empty cell case yi nekkoon that night si guddi boobu noonu nga dem directly area boobu noonu pick ko up te yow nga ne yow xamuloo fan la lifin bi taxawoon su suspect bi. You must have been really close to the suspect. This is a problem. You see the story right there. Then you might want to have a general example. Just a few months ago, I used my weapon here. Bitching the guy bitching the camera to see it is a problem, because when that thing ejects, it goes all everywhere. They them bounce them funeka. Then you exactly find out empty cell casing at live rounds. Because live rounds dokore by si lefin naka si area bunu. So number 4, because the only time lolo happen more if you have experience in the way things works. More in snake dafa jam. Ko dafa buga wax ne because three live round lawa. So the 3 live round, then yanko dafa jam 3 times. Gun dafa jam 3 times. Because gun bi si jamé da nga def lu ñëw tap rack nga génne bu nekk si kaw nga nga dural magazine bi wala nga génne magazine nga dugalaat ko. So boo dee génne raan bu dee càng boo dee génne moo la war a ne gun bi dafa jaamoon. And in this case, the gun wouldn't jam like that 3 times. Nah, unless they don't know how it works. So all those things you have to think about. Après nga dem si investigators, why did they lie? Why did the spokesperson all of a sudden mu joxe story boo xam ne nii ànduta affaire yi? Because they were shocked. If you do not release this man, we will get involved and we will beat you at your own game, which would embarrass you. Guy didn't take us serious because they thought that for years, like for example, all of that case, that alleged coup case, so they thought this one was going to be the same thing. And we refused to do that. So finga commencé rek moy da nga oyati this so-called witness ñu andi ñu fen ñep nga andi wat and then hold them accountable, because that's forgery. That's perjury. Fen in court, it's perjury. Lu do perjury. Nga ñu nga watch nga fen si under oath in court. That's an offense. So all those people and kisa nga ko charge with false publication. Yep, because that's what they publish, right? All those things are there. Nga ñu wat civil side defamation. Because this is defamation of character. Then nga ñu wat section 190 section 95. It used to be section 105. Conspiracy to defeat justice. When you conspire to falsely accuse somebody. So there are so many things you can charge these people. But there's a way you can do it without compromising future investigation. Dinga get to the bottom of this. There are so many routes that you can take. So many routes you can take, and you will get to the bottom of this.
Interesting. Very well. At this juncture, ñu ngi nuyuwaat ñëpp ñi nga xamante ñu ngi déglu right now. Very interesting conversation, by the way. And lii def na tax nit ñi xam lu bari ci yoon. I remember Senegal lu fa xewoon, between 2021 to 2024 have made their citizens more interested in legal matters because it was on everyone's lips and services ne lii ne la xewe. And this case also is more or less tax na Gambian si ñu ngi bëgg a bàyyi xel mbiri yoon lu ci xew naka lay demee, the procedures and all whatnot. And people like you have been playing a very crucial role ci loolu, and loolu am na solo bu baax a baax because as I always say, Gambia moom ñun dañu am problème nit ñi discuss mbiri court ci dëkk bi. People are complex. Ne soo waxee lii dugg na fii, even some of us in the media dina dee jëmal lifin, soo waxee you might be called hold for contempt nangam. So but fekk lii moom nit ñi dañu war a xam luwaay naka lay demee parce que luwaay is here for the people. Boo xamutee yow lu lay atte loolu nga war a def ak loolu nga war a you can easily be trapped, but thank you very much. So ma nuyu rek gars yi ñu fi nekk ñoom Aliou ST, good morning, thank you very much for being here. Di nuyu tamit FRP something whatever Arabi Jiba as always ñu ngi ko nuyu. Thank you Omar Touré, Ganda Diallo, yéen yëpp ñu ngi leen di nuyu bu baax a baax. Di nuyu tamit suma tooma Amadou Cissé Sek, Karanta Baji as always moom tamit mu ngi ànd ak ñun. Thank you very much. Di nuyu Mamadou Dramé, good morning to you. Di nuyu tamit bu baax a baax Cheikh Omar Wage. Thank you also for being here. All right, KKCD something IQA, Babu Njai, ñu ngi leen di yéen nuyu yéen yëpp, and thank you very much. So the nuyu tey ba Mr. Boy gisuma ko waaye ñu ngi ko nuyu. Anyway, moving on, coming back to the conversation, su ko defee ñu ngi leen di jaajëfal yëpp. ML, another point, gannaaw bi nga waxee maybe how they should have investigated, or if you were involved noo koy defee ni ñoo toppee mbir mi ba ñu xam kan moo def ak kan moo defut. But léegi Ousainou Bojang lawyer Lamin Jedabo wax na ne ci interview bu mu am ak Kër Fatou ne a Gambian forensic expert in the USA volunteered ci mbir mi te wax ko ne na dem official pour mu mun a am foofu data bi. So loolu mun naa jàpp ne loolu yow la parce que ni nga taxawee case bi mun naa assume it was you. So was that intelligence li ngeen siya with the evidence yan ndax loolu ngeen ci jàppe, was that really the case ci lawyer bi lu mu wax ak Kër Fatou?
Well, jërëjëf secretary comme ni nga lim ni yëpp. Well, we were heavily involved in the beginning because what we did was we laid the foundation and then we shared intelligence with them. Just like I told Malumalawa, then for the if you don't do this, we'll share intelligence. And I even offered them, I know how to fix this problem to avoid embarrassment. Lila was senior official union. I know how to fix this problem because this is also connected to a political a career. Because security and politics, they do go together because it means that you're not securing your political career. And this is exactly what ended up happening. So we see a lot of things. There are some things I cannot talk about because then it would lead to how we got it, right? Because when it comes, not only that, I mean, it could also in the future investigations, governments any administration, not only this administration. So you would have they might cover their tracks, right? So you want to make sure that you secure those routes. So we shared with them, and then we told them what to do, and then we listened to what was going on in court. Agents were out, and then gathered more evidence, more intel, and then we share it, and then we will tell them, do it this way, do it that way. But at some point, after we gave them everything, then we backed out. We backed out because I mean, Mano was a lot. So there are certain things that it might compromise the case. Then you cannot use it in court, right? And that's what we discussed. So Susila backed out about it because you provide for it. So no for them. So that was me, obviously. There are people on the ground. I mean, you have to understand, we spend a lot of money in this. We spend a lot of money in this because investigations it's not cheap. Because you have to go out. Because at some point we even trace the wife. We interviewed the wife, even though the wife was angry at Hussein Bojansa. They were not even married yet, sir. Because we found out that. And then Nyona Kid Tubabla, the person was not even Tubab. The person is half Jamaican, half British, right? So the guy is there. It's in the and then we look at the data. You do see images you have because everything, because as an investigator, you have to go back to every statement made by the state or somebody accusing the person if you're on the defense side to hold and make that sense. So look at you then top out the key in the all right. So you then realize, okay, there are so many exculpatory evidences here. Number one, before the incident, before he got even arrested, the arresting officers, Usino Bojan, even went to the police station to complain about his wife, about Lumdon the whole time, and Ninyi, Naka Tubabambi, Naka Jawarambi, that going to expose. See, with his nude pictures, right? All those things were there. Jawarambi, accused. So, can I see officers you Bruce be right? Boko advisors have been going down the most sitting. What am I getting them uti sitting? Now is so deglo sing mama jabi audio bisa mugi ñew pour wax lan la fa uti pour mu nek ci def ko du ko def faale, and that was the truth. We have all those data. So koku ko def faale du ko def ko call be sona, all those things were there. Asa nga dem ñu demaat even tuba bi sa yeneen ñu am because ñetti tuba ñoo am kër ak well ñaari tuba ak ci British bi ni aussi mo fo follow de liggéey. So ñoo ñëpp lañ dem interview ñoo ñëpp confirm ne wax nañ police ne kii mu doon liggéey the whole time ñëpp confirm nañ, but they ignored it, which is against the law. But xam nga the exculpatory evidence, I keep singing this to these people's ears. That's important because court B is there for everybody. Criminal justice is there for everybody. So in this case, our job might to investigate because criminal justice is broad. Dafa rëy dafa yaatu comme nga ne doctors xam nga soo ne docteur mun nga nekk docteur pour malaria kale nekk docteur pour def lii nekku ne rek docteur nga. So moo tax ñu bari understand lañu in the Gambia, moo tax ñu bari dañ dee tase ay pocket lawyers because da ngaa dégg kii lawyer la xam nga ndax kooku dafa study criminal law, dafa study accounting law or tax law. There are all these kinds of lawyers out there. Waaye nga Gambia soo ne kii lawyer la dañ fa ne so moo dee waral cases yu bari ñu duñ xam how to go about it, especially soo amee lawyer bu am big head foog ne moom they can do, because ñun at some point there are certain yeneen cases yoo xam ne reach out nañ ci lawyer yi. They acted like they could do this alone without understanding that, hey, you need an investigator to go and investigate these cases, to go and investigate these claims that the state is making in court. So ñun dañ def suñ def ci gàttal daal ñu andi yëpp lu gaay wax yëpp lañ dem contradict ñoo tegal ko gaay. Even the ballistic expert, can you imagine, mi ne ko expert la kooku mu ngi ne yàggas 15 years nu mu waxee ne noonu la conducté ballistic examination bi. That's not how it is, because so conduct ballistic examination for nga fetal bi. He did not say that. Moom admit na ne fetal bi wasn't even assembled. Nu mu ñëwee noonu lañ ko ñu test ko. Because you have to, but case B could have been like a slam dunk in a way, in the sense that yow ñii dañ ko tegal ñii dañ dugal seen bopp sax ñi ne am nañ fa empty rounds naka waaw empty cell casings ak lifin bi live round so empty cell casings yi daf day am fingerprint every gun mun nañ ko defa the same minute the same time but they have different kinds of comme ñun nit ñi ni ñu amee fingerprint ñun la amee fingerprint because nu mu dee génne nu mu dee éjecté am na yenn marks yu mu dee am every gun so live round boobu noonu nga doon jël rek fetalaat ko rek da ko dugal si barigo nii rek nga fet barigo because barigo yoo xam ne day siiw soo ko dugalee nga jël ko génne live round boobu noonu then that night soo leen secure crime scene boobu noonu soo leen gis soo leen mënta gis bal yooyu noonu idam mu ngi des si yarami gars yi nga dem génne ko foofu noonu then nga jël live round bu rëy waa ji bu rëy ñooñu noonu nga compare ko ak yow live round bu ñu wax ne boobu lañ fine si scene bi su nekkee ne empty cell casings rek fa nekka li nga def mooy gon bu gaay wax ne loolu la gaay andi su nekkoon ne amutoon live round gon bu gaay wax ne loolu la gaay andi loolu nga jël ak yenn bullet ci tamit nga shoot ko you could also examine the empty cell casings to find out the patterns understand? So all these things are there, bro. So there are so many inconsistencies in this story. So when we got involved, Seattle, we provided the defense with intelligence. We guided them. When we listened to because like the state by the question witnesses, and then the following day or the following week they will come and then the defense would cross-examine. So we used that opportunity. We let them know that this is not how it's done. This is not how it's done. There are so many things that we provided, and then but we created doubt because that's the point. You create doubt in the minds of the judge or jury. That's the whole point of the court. Create doubt. So these lawyers, it's important. It's really important to investigator when you have these cases, especially high profile cases. Against IGP the one my prosecutors are intelligent. They got more no fuck intelligent. More then I'm degree in like this English, you bit of this legal words and things like that. No. All they do is fabricate. But I'm getting 3,000 cases like prosecute. But then where's the conviction rate? Who did you prosecute? So there's something called in law enforcement cooking the books. Some people do cook the books to beat the ELA number, to come out and say, let's do this. More bara press conference bo giso ga nu ga don serious e jafanan ki ñu go post di wona jafanan ñi def nañ li ñu prosecute li def la le. But this is the oldest we are so backward. This is the oldest trick in the book. We are so backward. Ko xam li nga xam ne ñi nga wa backward li bro. We have lot to learn. Definitely.
Well, and again, in mbir mi dafa gonna interest. Just listening to what you said tells there's a lot that need to be corrected in our system, by the way. But still on this very important issue, since the verdict was delivered, we have seen reaction and counter-reaction ci lu xew resulting in President bi ci boppam President Barrow, voiced his disappointment over justice that is ruling Bumdef on the case during the political rally. Maybe other would see it he was on a tour, whatever, but that was more of a politic. Now I analyze the president's reaction or behavior during that meeting, especially the way he addressed the issue.
They're paranoid right now from a psychological standpoint, and he made a huge mistake. Because so you say Mugena, dafa gain poor because of pressure bangi high, number $1 million boom jox Mama Jabi. That's another issue I forgot to address, sir. Because everything that they did in this case was wrong. This is how you do it. Because mom basically wax nit ñi ne so ande nit rek dañ la jox xaalis reward money. That's not how you do it. Reward money ba nga ko dee joxe. Fuck investigation bi jeex, court ci jeex. Evidence tegu ñu ne ok kii moo ko def den nga joxe reward money moo tax soo dee advertise reward money da ngaa ne anybody with information leading to the suspect up to conviction we will give you this money. That's what you do. So therefore you will eliminate people like Mama Jabi, the make up stories to falsely accuse somebody. Them not pose. I remember I'm on a kumirayon folly, Talinding. When we offered, I actually offered $25,000 for the world money. So I reached out to this new DIG, time one commissioner Hauma of Operation Hauma. And Lumawa, you feel we don't do that when you do that, yada yada. But there's a way to do it. No, we are basically they're intelligent, they know their job, they will do the Hamagamian, like we will do you never offer help, right? Help, they are stupid. No, you are actually stupid when you don't open doors to learn more. When you think that you're linga janga, right? More applies. Understand? So President Barrow, coming back to President Barrow's behavior, he's putting because as a president, you should be happy. Because ñom soko xolé even seen platforms sa may diga ñu ko dé support moy li fi na gewel ami ñom ki naka Abdoulaye naka whatever Cham whatever his name is. Oh, we do due process, we follow due process. ñom the only time comme mu yaga the only time you respect due process when it comes to them. Mom mu warona def bu fa warona gina waxa Gambians boom get involved. Because so gisé num no waxé they get frustrated, they get angry, they too much dabo. Because we don't want to convict me. He's very selfish. He's more focused on his political career than the safety and life of Usini Bojang and his sister. So remember one is a new policy, but they did not provide. That's not the question here. Did you provide tangible evidence to prove the beyond a reasonable doubt? No, you did not do that. So Mola wonder how President Barrow is then he's being misled. He's being misled by people around him. The same people Nyokoron Saga. The same people Nyokoron Saga years ago. They're using that advantage. They're using that to their advantage. So I remember most now when a Gambian be that they allow it. We have even character, integrity, at life. That's exactly what's going on. Boy, Lee Subaru Helam, sitting, whatever sitting Mumyaka, Munsidara. I'm telling you this because Yaja Limokono. The one they know, be fatty the facts on the ground. Logic Yaja Dukomuna Jik, and Barrow is very dangerous, bro. Barrow, go ahead.
So, sorry to interject. I was going to, because today, Jam, I have seen people, okay, this is the Barrow's reaction in this case. The family come, that's a typical Jammeh style. To some, the Jammeh's era may be sliding back somehow. So I don't know.
Definitely. Why mom he's very smart at the way he's doing it. Because Sokohole in the beginning, the Fakuma said the test banghasi. Boom just jogi kuma said gain dinner, get comfortable. But Kuma said 1 hour, the Fakuma said the order policy from revoke the recent bill. I don't know if you remember that. Then we receive that backlash. One and hey, we're not gonna entertain this nonsense. So you cannot do that as a dictator now. What you do now, you use I'll hide behind this many that I have. Why press release me or loom definitely sirale me that expose. Anybody who understand how psychological system works or behavior works, right? Or behavioral analysis works. Mom expose bopa. Because mom when you run hamna ludon hell si run. So obviously for good gainer, what in your local people even though they are appeal what appeal they appeal and you are winner I'm going to find them come mama can lungwa president barafa gina di wahan games many dof logic jamme du ko jik to mo lolu moy jamme bu mu don ñew Gambian si time bu nono they were not aware of this situation jamme dafa xamone Gambian si ne they are so used to the sitting ki borom xamam la so he used that to manipulate everybody ne papa moko jox li borom xam la nga time bu ne jola dafa am li de jola dafa am la o comme jago yi ni dafa yu jalak so nga ragal nak right so Jammeh loolu la use to control the Gambians mo taw da nga gisee mu tok on TV sam ngay jox gaay ay safara ay butel melni mom jinne mu ne mom dafa am xamam jinne la things like that fekk daf don use am na ko di ko use rek di ko jox xamam yu non te lo ne ko xamam sax so he kept making himself look stupid so Barrow is like Jammeh but it's very dangerous. But lu moo def nii mooy you cannot hold him accountable after presidents unless and until nga am recording boo xam ne ni mu ngi wax foofu noonu di joxe order. Because what he does is dafa yónni nit def dara many more xamut because in the eyes of the law you cannot hold just like Ousainou Bojang right now su nekkee Ousainou Bojang moo ko defoon sax proof loo ne moo ko def dëgga so Barrow this is how Barrow is very dangerous because people who are doing his bidding ñoo war a careful because Gambia mi moom su la bëggee impress moom soo nekkee jiitam boosam lu nekk la lay def fàtte ëllëg xool ñoom like people like Yankuba Touré ana mu tey using ko as scapegoat ana ku waxoon ne daf ko jox immunity ñu ñëw na pour protect ko déedéet so yow yaa gën a fee wane yow yaay xam li nga xam bul nangu benn friend benn papa benn yaay benn mboka put you in a situation where you would have to choose between your integrity, your family, the way you feed your family. Because at the end of the day, Sadomi, they look up to you. So if you're in a situation, it's a plus, come as information minister, that this information minister, Mr. Sise, people like that. I'm not going to fatten them, I don't. Fatten a day's life after being a minister, right? So things like that, secretary, everybody is dangi di has and God because of what money. More than what they want to get jazz and God get halis at plus. They will see it, inshallah. So Barrow Sigatal, to time be. Lum Def Nono was another blow to his career. Because one Gambians mom, he's impartial. One Gambians mom, like basically he's neutral. Mom soron mom dafa gina wax ne look code bi def na defam and it's clearly ñoo xam they are competent comme ni mo supporté police understand what I support him because mom he's a president for everybody because so they do more ways and do more ways am ye wane waaw Ousainou Bojang moko def with what evidence
after otherwise.
Wow. Motamala in the beginning, they were so confident that court would look the other way around, the other way to convict, just like what's been going on for many years. Or while a judge with a faragal, because of hang on mom right now, Susan Constitution, if I'm please correct me if I'm wrong, he can fire judges, right? So Leabunsi won. So mota justice jayte manko jaajefal because su doon beneen judge la nekkoon tey def na lu moo def because of waa fone su deful lu moo def bara daf ko lifin for that mota it's important whatever you do whatever you have in life you work hard for it when you work hard for it billionaires su ñëwee sa doo ko faale
yeah absolutely that's important yeah well
so dafa dugal bu baax
sorry
man dafa dugal boppam bu baax a baax dafa gën a make things worse man dafa fa dem ngeen nax nit ñi waaye nawul nit ñi mu nekk nii moo tax def lu baax bro def lu baax soo ko def xoolal ñun wax nañ fi mu dëgg mooy mujjee de because ñun ñëwuñ pour nga taacul ñu ñëwuñ pour nga jox ñu liggéey bro you know how much money I lost contract yoo xam ne waroon naa ko am because waaye ñoom lu gaay bëggoon du mun a dem man xam naa nga amee contract Gambia I know how to work with the government I can do that but my integrity my character my dignity is the most important thing because that's all I have aw ma dara so su ma ñëwee because maa ngi séntu ne hey di ma jox security contract ma ñëw training ma security contract ma di bagage so which means I have to ignore everything that you do when people are out there vulnerable ñoo xam ne nii xamuñ luwaa bi tey su ñëwutoon tey Ousainou Bojang dafa dañ ko sampal bro and then what when does it end
yeah
waaye lii dafa tax gars yi ragal fu nekk dafa tax ñu bàyyi seen xel baax a baax ni ñu accusé lii
absolutely yeah absolutely loolu moom this is going to be very interesting anyway I know usually we don't talk politics here and of course I know you don't like getting involved in politics but since wax nga ne like the security could also link to link or connect to politics, so I would just go ahead and ask this. We know ne léegi damage moom am na ba pare ci li xew, and especially with President Barrow and his administration, and politically career bi tamit. But is there any way out for him? How could he fix this? If you were to, suggest or advise, maybe.
But you're right. Everything in life, not even politics, everything in life is connected to security. Several times. Even your life, how you secure your family, it's important. Everything in life is secure. That protects our finances. Moy comme ku ñew won nangu kilifa ñew manipuler la or nit ñew manipuler la nga jël li nga wara dundé sa jëwol bi nga na haral yalla mine ma suma di mo joxe di mo la no di mo nga joxe di mo nga po because I'm not I'm going to call. I get them to call. The more nga joxe, the more nga po. Ito ang wali mo Yala lungwa because everything Gambia that's what they misinterpret. Because so say yala mine the more nga joxe, the more nga am moy. Sini kaya am 100, nga joxe 10, wala 20. Ham nga still yang am 80. Lolu losonal. Ano nga? So da nga gis ne lolu yala nala yokal wosak. Why so ne nga gis ku jël ne yala na ma joxat benen. Yolu dafa ne yala fla mere sa because yoro nga bon sa bopa. Yow da nga amee 100 yaa amee njaboot nga jël 100 boobu yëpp 80 bi jox ko nit ñi yow nga ne 20 bi da nga ko buraxantu ak sa jabar ne beneen na ñëwaat loolu fa make sense. So this is the problem. If I was to advise Barrow, it's not too late to fix this. Instead of protecting people ñoo xam ne ñoo mislead ko, and as a leader this is the most dangerous thing when it comes to leader, protecting bad behavior. Xoolal si family rek when you protect bad behavior ñu dem ñaar ñetti jabar jabar bu dee ñëw di def lu ko neex foog ne waaw dafa téye jëkkëram su digg loxoom bi waa jëkkëram su ma jëkkër dafa ma nopp yow nga ñëw kooku su defee dara yaa ngi protect bad behavior nu mu dee mujjee sa famille lu dee tas sa doom yi duñ dee dem ba mag because jépp la nga ñëw di blame seen yaay du seen yaay yi de ni nga acté si kër gi la di protect bad behavior bañ a dox si dëgga because a leader plays a huge role in everything that they lead. Understand? So you have to be very careful. Di nga ama di ñi jaama man ñu ma xam yëpp ñu ma liggéeyal yoo xam ne when it comes to the work I have no friend, I have no family. When it comes to my family, when it comes to dëgga I have no friend, I have no family, I have no kilifa. Because the more understand dega mom degal. This is how you say it as it is. Because the more massage dega, the more the problem they am. So look for advice more is just simple. Hold people accountable. You know, because these people are getting paid to do the job. Right? Man, if I am the leader, my job is to lead. You're on your job more information. Mansuma agency one guy. I'm not new I fired them because of that. Bull them no job wrong information because I'll find out. Because my integrity is on the line. Now you have many then them short code because have many okay. Every job you go to, you get paid. Especially so now you them your job false information. You're so wise hell. No, everything is verified before you get paid. So some of them they tried that and they got fired. Because they didn't do more comme nous dit aussi nous célébrer qui n'est pas fini quand la hamé li fi man lu am Gambia mais ñu nek Gambia ci sécurité xamuñ understand. So this is the problem. So for advice it's simple, hold on these people accountable, everybody, every investigator open another investigation one nit ñi ne because you're not to be blamed, you pay these people to do the job one gënal nga won nit ñi ne look mistake has happened, could be decided na gis na report bi da nga read report sa jika I guarantee he did not even do that. Bull different policy because yang different bad behavior bina report bi nga call out ñep what went wrong, this is what you do as a leader. Okay, what went wrong? Now the police are there because politically it's connected. You're already connected because you already gave out $1 million for what? Lolu bokk na lutamu jafur ni. So you so oye ñu ñep no committee, no meeting. Okay, what went wrong? What happened? Nga ani ñu hold those people accountable openly. Bro, where do you think your political career would be? The far boost because I want you're a leader. You are willing to find the person who killed these people. Not how she tell you they were none. Mumoko def then corona find guilty. On what basis? On what grounds? As a leader. Unless and until he's part of this.
And the president
go ahead.
I was going to say he has that constitutional mandate to respect what the law says. He has that whatever it is, mom, that obligation, I should say, to respect what the constitution decides. In this case, he has not any ground to wanna downplay Lolo.
And not only that, he has disrespected our courts. We want the whole world our courts are incompetent. That's what he's saying. He believes the court, the police more than the court. The court will give him the death. Police they knew you domada like toga, judge bi must toga bi, xam ne ndugi domada ñewut. Ndugi supam lañ fa def. Légui yow ko naka lay légui lolu. So dara nga bëgg okay domada lañ toga te yow ndugi supa nga and ñi la wax domada lañ toga by force. That's not how criminal justice works.
Yeah.
And not only that, mom si bopam unless and until we get involved or waxam luy xew. Because you have to understand behavior tamit. So gisee nit ñëw di defend xamal ne si la bokk 9 out of 10 bro yow man tey so yow soo bokkutoon si dara di nga ñëw di defend dara no. So he knew what was going on, he knew what happened, he knew the story based on the way he's behaving. Because if you see his behavior on TV, how agitated he was, how angry he was, how he wished George will convict these people on the convict Usainu Bojang. He only cares about his political career. But then when you care about your political career, to me, he doesn't care about his political career because he's allowing people's behavior to ruin his political career. And as a leader, if you do that, where are you going to go? So he's failing big time. And not only that, let them re-arrest people. Because of what? Bugulo sa support si wane ki bawo. Lolu mun la gina dugal si jam because hanga dofuñ. So gisee gaay ñu war withdraw that application pour ñu téye ñi. Xam nga jamme li wax na ko sa plateforme bi sax xam nga jamme li la defoon bem trigger coalition bu def Gambia si ñëw together. Def lu ko neex. Disregard of our laws. Guys, you say things are getting tough. I keep telling them this, and I'm going to keep telling them. No. Mother say you very dohatuñ. Suñu ñu wa ki dafa ñaka yar, dafa ñaka kilo. Ñaku kilo fa dara. Ñaku ben yar. It's the way you behaving. You are behaving like you are wurtaga. You are behaving like ne yow mom you are God. Yow moko lo poch. Do wax mom dankal lu nekk so waxe mom sa ya nga wax mom ak doole ak xol. Did you feel like they are going to definitely by force? I'm not they cannot take that. And this generation, never comes in yai. You know, gomlo rewa kimo amesa chabe adjana kimo amesa li do amnya sado me take if you know. Nyara jigen ñom ñoko tek ñom ñoo jël noses you know send them dafa teki. No. So at the end of the day, you need to protect yourself. So this is what's going on. And Barrow, if he's not careful, we get them towards that path. He's ruining his political career, definitely.
All right, just for the sake of time, I just fast track this one. I know time is almost gone, but just quickly, since the verdict again, reactions and of course, the government have made their position very very clear. Now they intend to appeal the case at the appeal court, at the court of appeal. Now, you have earlier said, buñ appelé dinañ daanu be xalangu and all that and even well before after the rearrest bi mo waxé ak yow té lolu mom mo ji am so la mo tax nga fogon tamit lolu dina xewat they had no reason maybe to do what they were supposed to they were doing rather
because right now they are going with their ego comme no one guy in the beginning of this case in the beginning amulen dara this guy did not do it based on what you guys presented to the people right the same thing right now they're going with their ego and obviously they have nothing. So they have the right to appeal. Everybody has the right to appeal, even the state, right? You have the right. Moo about bu ma déggee muy wax naan waaw fii de appeal di bugg a analyse you know di make it sound like ñun dañoo wax ne warloo appeal. Mun nga appeal la sa appeal, but why do you have to keep these people? The reason why they want to keep these people is just simple because xam nañu Ousainou Bojang su génnee dina am access to the media, dina am access to everybody out there. He will start talking, right? Obviously, he will talk about everything loo xam ne loolu lañ ko defal noonu lañ ko interrogaté si police bi. So it's just simple. There are certain things yoo xam ne ñu ne naka wax bu aaga dafa ko moom. So this is the problem. So they have nothing, Amado. There is no DNA evidence, no ballistic evidence, no physical evidence, no digital evidence to connect Ousainou Bojang to this. And we are going to get involved. We're going to get involved again. We are waiting for them. Because there are so many other strategies that we could use to make them look stupid again. Unless they want to make themselves look stupid. Because we're not going to give up. Like we told them before, we did not give up. And we did not let this case die. We pursued this case, we went all the way out, and we're still doing our groundwork. And suñ demee nga comme America nu la Iran di def ñu foog ne gars yi seen ballistic missiles yi dañ jeex ñu ngi sos gars yi wala seen naka lañ ko waati sax seen air defense system bi ñu ne gars yi dañ yaaxa yëpp gis nga léegi ñu gars yi daawne seen plane the same thing la rek ñi nga am yoo xam ne ñi ngi xaar gars yi dañ dem because code bi système la code bi nekkul dem rek dama dégg angale nekkul dem rek dama waaw am di your honor your worship all day no it's a system the game mooy how to create doubt in the minds of the judge how to make you look stupid and that's what we're going to do let them do it we're waiting for them
right interesting again loolu am na solo bu baax a baax su ko defee su fekkoon ne tey if you were to advise again the Gambian especially the youth yi nga xamante ne ñoom ñoo tax sax ñu arresté Ousainou bi mun nañu wax ne go demut through because of the pressure of big mount so eventually they had to resort to buy Ousainou ak system bi so naa nga foog ne Gambian si ndaw yi loolu lañ mën a approach this situation and lan lañ war a def pour gis ne li xew ci Ousainou Bojang keesam bi ak système du xewati again ci réew mi.
Well, man lu ma def mooy suma advice both the police and the youths because the fact mooy ne foog youth ci génn si street because that's what we do so I mean kilifa bu doon def lu war you're going to go out respectfully and within the lines of the law to voice out your concerns and your feelings, right? And it's their responsibility to listen because we pay them. So obviously the first thing these kids would do, they would go and get a permit from the police, right? So police, of course, what they use is a security threat, always security. They don't even know what a security threat is. As a matter of fact, they're the biggest threat to security. The way the police behave more in a bro, more the family nitakal jabaram wuja, right? Sa jabar di mer nga ñëw di mere sa jabar nga lu tax muy mer instead nga neexal ko you see what I'm getting at mu jéegi nga tem nga ne ko tegal ko sa waa soo ko buur nga dem xam nga soo tasee jabar bu la gën a dof nu mu dee mujjee def ci yow xam nga ne bu loo bu dem nu mu dee mujjee daf laa bàyyi foofu wala mu jaay la moo la gën a dof at the end of the day li nga def mooy da ngaa nekk foofu di xee ak sa ego fekk yaa ko gën a bugga. So this is how it works as a khalifa. You choose your battles. So si ñuy ñëwee pour ut permit leen ko jox is their job. So gisee that public order niñ ko bindee soo ko interpréter right mooy ne soo gisee nga ñëw si police di wax permit yaa ngi ko wax ne bés bi dama def lii because sooy protest am na ñeneen ñoo xam ne tamit dañ la against. So it's the responsibility of the police pour ñu find time ñu ne okay bés bi su ko defee ñu provide security to peacefully protest. More than that, everything is being abused. They don't even know how the law works. They don't even know how to peacefully control situation, how to peacefully enforce the law in the Gambia without all this chaos. You see, how many enforce the law, bro? Even need soko sources, soko dore balsa, ninyi nga xam ne yes, yone lo am ko door bal. Problem du die. Bu problem du am, commotion du am. Ken du gëna protest because moko def de. Ni la ko defé because you provided them the opportunity to change. This is how you enforce the law. But the way they enforce the law, you come as if they are above the law. So ñoom ñaar lay advice. nit ñi nañ génn within the lines of the law ñu protest su gars yi demee sax si police di lifin because dafa mel ni nga ñëw sa papa rek nga ne ko ne loolu dama bëggoon lii yaa ngi ko jox cër pour ngeen liggéey wala pour mu defal la dara pour nga involve ko si dara because of da nga ko bëgga because of di fag ne sa papa la sa kilifa la yaa ngi ko jox cër boobu noonu loolu rek cër la waaye mi ngi ne mënu loo ko defal sa papa rek so if you come to them ñu laa woon ne maay sa kilifa maay sa wërsat na nga faa bàyyi dem toppatoo sa papa right. So the same thing, when you come to the police and look, we want to do this, we want to go out and voice out, we want to go out and peacefully do this, we need a permit. You like wow, you like insult to intelligence, you still have to go. Because you know create. Because boy, ni ko buga def lu bon dina ñew di la taw. So why do we always have to manipulate the situation as if yow ku tok ci government bi rek or ku tok ci togu bi rek mo mata. Parti bo mo mata ci gamé. That's what we need to change. Senegal li moko change. Because freedom is not cheap, Mr. Kante. Freedom is not cheap. So, ñu ñaan yëpp lay advice, buñ dellu gannaaw. Na ngay génn within the lines of the law, si yone rek tege. Because injustice for all, you see how we fight. Dañoo ñëw, nga jaay ñu dof no problem. Duñ la bàyyi de. Ñun wax nañ ne, it might take us days, it might take us weeks, months, years, but eventually, we will hit back. We will always hit back. Loolu bu ko mu leer seen bopp bi. Because man, the mindset I have mooy, buñ la tooñ. Waaye soo ñu tooñee, we will always hit back. So xale yi loolu laa bëgg ñu understand ne nañ génn ak yar ak teggin obviously police bi seen boppa nañ bàyyi di behave like irresponsible parents si kër irresponsible naka kilifa si kër boo xam ne oh just because maa laa jox dépasse rek or just because maa laa foon laa dëgg rek so I have to do whatever I want in the house non loolu sax diine bi sax dafa wane it's so responsible waxuma la diine bi rek loi bi sax am na foo xam ne mu laa wane sa famille soo leen fiidul soo leen toppatoo woon muy góor muy jigéen bi soo leen toppatoo woon ñu dem ba deesi ñu dem ba gaay feebar si or whatever you be held accountable musuñ lu waaye ku ma wéy di mun naa la ko woon so mën a may la ne so loolu is your responsibility kenn warul laa tàccul comme baralu moo def ne waa bin naa route bul naa def ne kenn du la tàccul because that's your job you're supposed to do that and that's the mindset that we need to get out of these leaders' heads ne waaw man maa andi democracy yaa fi andi democracy has been there it's been in our laws our constitution I kan nga ne yow yaa di démocratie su ma xeloo su ma xool baa dee dox na ko def because try na ko right now what he is doing it behind the scene dox yu mu dee jiital ñu dem def foog ne ñu ngi def lu leen neex si dëkk bi def lu ak ministre yi ñëw di wax nii lu leen neex waa keneen su defee dara nga ñëw over correction mel ni yow you have no regard for our laws ma wax naa la it will backfire and like I told them before since at the beginning ne nañ leen woon ne dëkk bi dafa am loi and one nañ ko gaay nañ leen woon ne court yi nekkul judges yëpp a bon Gambia, there are good Gambians in the country. There are good police officers, good security officers. There are good civil servants in the Gambia. But because of this handful of people, ñoo xam ne nii dañ dee jaay seen ngor ngir xaalis ak place ñoom ñoo dee tarnish the image of the good ones in the system. I can tell you that, bro. There are so many good people in the system. Waaye tamit ñooñu blame naa leen because nit ki soo gëmee yàlla dëgga doo nekk di ngunu-ngunu gi nga xam ne dafa bëgg ngunu-ngunu. Do you have action? When it comes to action, ku nekk mu ngi dellu gara xoolal union bi yaa ngi ñëw di xeexal gaay transport sector bi ñoom nañ foog ne su ñëw di xeew dañoo daanu non because this was anticipated boo ñun luñ def it's analysed assessed and anticipated dañ foogoon ne su gaay stopé radio programme boobu noonu suñ joni dafa stop what this was anticipated a year ago a year plus now sila rajo bii nii so moo laa woon ne ñun what we do we take our time we understand our opponent we understand what we're here to do ñëwuñ pour nga tàcc ñu ñëwuñ pour nga ñu liggéey dañ ñëw ne kenn waxoon ne bul dugal nit ci kaso kenn waxoon ne bu prosecute nit but def ko within the lines of the law understand ne you are the custodian of the law not above the law.
All right. I'm afraid we have to round it up now. Time has gone, but the conversation is becoming more interesting. I can see Guy and Gay gonna dig one on. I'm sorry. They have really, seen the reason and the worth of joining us here. Talk about this very important issue at hand. And I'm afraid, as time goes on, then you're gonna have more time to dwell more on this. Because, as at any time when this case resumes again in court, the statement maintain their stand, then you appeal, it will be more interesting as to what would happen next. But and lawyer Lami Jedab also, his call for questioning also is another issue being Hamantene have generated reaction on social media yesterday towards today. And he might be called for question, and he have clearly stated that mom do them unless if they come and arrest him. And if that happen, Gala and other young people have warned that might result to something else. But I'm not even ML. But finally, by the way, maybe I need to ask this one finally. The defense, lawyer Usainu be, lawyer Lamin Jedab and his team, did they at any point, hired your service or your investigative team, or was it just, pro bono, help? Just finally.
No, on the contrary, I'm going to come here. Gambians, they don't know that. Lawyers say, an investigator, with investigator. So if you're gonna change a system, what you do at first, danga wane nanga de toge, ngaja funeka mosnu ninga toge. Understand? Then obviously, even justice for all, sir, non la judo. Then musal guy na justice for lila muna def lila muna gene. You believe in us, and that's what we're gonna continue doing. So in this case, what I did was, I volunteer and reach out. And I said, hey, I have an investigative firm, and we are here to offer you. Why y'all tell me the lawyer was doing it for pro bono, for free. Lawyer vitamin come you like dafa ñoo gis ne, hey, look, enough is enough. The lawyer be, in my understanding, mom can never go fay. Can hire you more joke them volunteer. Hey, ALL-SUNU boya. So now there are good people in the country. Therefore, the mom telling me not comment because of, like I said, I'm not lawyers. You have when you reach out to them, you like wow, because you like so much money that I find I'm stupid. How much money? But you're actually stupid when you don't understand it. When it comes to criminal justice, come no way. You also selling a janga boy them si court be interpret you investigate. Criminal justice start with us. Law enforcement start with us. Investigators yi foog nga investigate njëkka ñoo ñëla lii lañ duga yow nga dem tooga ko wane code bi ne li la gaa loolu la tooga duga bi nii lañ ko duggee nan lañ ko duggee fi lañ dem jënd ko fa lañ dem jënd ko. Was very important pour nga am credible because ñun loolu lañ def. Everything we presented was credible. Everything from the digital evidence, physical evidence, every evidence that we provided. So we reach out to one guy and look, we can do this. Yàlla def tamit looy ba si boppam nekk koo xam ne nii dafa wàccee boppam jaay ñu ne waa dafa jàng America dafa jàng England yàgg na système magistrate nga mos na rek magistrate la woon dafa open he listen to us léegi sax mu call ñu waxtaan ñu explain ñu waxtaan nice and he's very humble, very very humble. So this is what we did. We actually spent more money, a lot of money in this to make sure ne ALL-SUNU Bojang dañ ko téye because moo xoon naa ko gars yi daf suñu jaralee ñu activate all the resources that we have to make sure ne state bi understand ne we will beat them at their own game, and that's what we did, and we will continue to do this inshallah.
Oh, all right, interesting. Thank you very much. We will look forward to more time of discussing on this thing. We have to thank you again for the clarity, for the eloquence, and for more importantly for enlightening Gambians on all these things. From the beginning, from the onset, you have been, keenly involved and making sure that as we should, tell all the farm solo. So thank you very much, and I thank also all those that are here following this conversation and later on when the conversation as well put the Duat program. So thank you so very much, Mr. Fay. Let me just allow you. I'm gonna conclude and we call it off for the inshallah.
Well, as always, when we talk, you can always interrupt because this program is for you. So we say we are putting all this money in this. You come your time, spend some time, understand why you buy some time. So we say you put in time, you voice out, ngeen laaj ñu questions because I'm pretty sure ne su dul yow sax sa family member is or sa friend is going through something or su dul loolu sax yow mun ngaa laajte yoo xam ne ëllëg sibit mun na laa aar mun na laa protect because léegi am na situation yi nga nekk xëj nga call doo ñu am because man am a very busy guy doo ñu am pour ñu wax la li nga def surtout soo nekkul member moom this is your opportunity pour nga call pour nga laajte question because su radio programme bi ñëwee the only people that we respond to mooy members yi those are the only people that we respond to so dina xamal ne again pour nga andi generational change foo ñu commencé ko si suñ doom yi foo ñu commencé ko si suñ kër yi because ñun tamit ay hypocrite lañ da nga gis ne nga ku nekk kiram di doxalin boo xam ne nii ida mu ngi soxoree jëkkëram o mu ngi soxoree jabaram then nga ñëw bañ a def lu war léegi nga ñëw si biti ku nekk si government bi kooku tamit yaa ngi ko blame because you guys are behaving the same way di soxorante because we are all Gambians right so the only time li matter mooy su nekkee ku la dee jaay daf dem bi realize ne doole amul ko naa mu la disturb la wax naan you know we are all Gambians we are all Muslim la moo tax xalaat la woon loolu noonu balaa noo def sa nonsense so suñ doom yi it's very important ñu jàngal gaay ñu gurum gaay ñu waxtaana gaay because Gambian bi li la mënta understand sa doom surtout ma ñun papa yi sa doom dina la over buga they look up to you but because of we get caught up ak suñ ego yi suñ pride yi diso ma dis kilifa ba duñ jëm mën a gis ne suñ doom yi naka lañ ñu buggee so at the end of the day yooyu yëpp da ko dee gis psychologically nga dem ba si kanam nga foog ne waaw man suma doom yi bugguñ ma non bugga nañ la it's the way you are acting comme ma tëjee fii rek comme I don't know if you remember months ago amoon na client moo demoon mu boole involvement si family issue ma advice di ko wane ni nga defee ni it's gonna get serious it's gonna get worse because soo demee ba am beneen jabar nga am doom yu mag surtout ay doom yu jigéen dañuy fiir there's a way to go with them soo ko doxalu si yoon rek sa kër na tas and that's exactly what happened jabar yi move na out léegi dem na understand ne jabar baa na am problème léegi mu ngi bëgg a ñëwaat si doomam yi understand so all these things are there so you have to be careful bu ñu dee toppa suñ ego ak suñ pride Gambia bi dafa bëgg yi fi ego ak diis maay lii maay lale maa la jox lii maa la jox lale at the end of the day li nga joxe gannaaw li nga liggéey gannaaw yàlla si kan la ko jaarale yàlla mën na ko jox so mën na ko jël anytime so just because yaa ngi feed sa family yaa ngi jox guys shelter doesn't mean ne foofu nga war a am build that connection with them so my advice to you mooy ne let us work together let us continue to work together let us continue to advise our children ñu bàyyi fi kilifa la man xeer la yow nen nga all that stuff loolu moo waste time ni ñu bari so dinaa jaajëfal laa wax ba next week inshallah
all right thank you very much Mr. Faye and thank you to all those ñi doon ànd ak ñun ci programme bi we want to thank you all and wish all of you a lovely Sunday till we meet again next week inshallah jërëjëf thank you so very much
yes sir thank you very much
all right